Farmers face extortion from bandits before harvesting crops in Kaduna. Police arrest students over Taraba teachers' killing. Massive security deployment boosts public confidence ahead of Kogi election. On the foreign scene, Hamas says 13 killed in Israeli strike on Gaza's biggest hospital. These are the headlines on Trust TV News Update at this hour. I am Ayub Ahila. Thanks for joining. Beginning with security matters, bandits terrorizing Kaduna communities are forcing villagers to pay levies before getting access to their farms to harvest crops. The affected farmers from Kidandang and Galadima villages are being forced, while some in Angwar Falau and Kerawa villages face constant harassment and kidnappings while working on their farms. A source from Kidandang village says that farmers usually pay from 70,000 naira to 100,000 naira before they can harvest their farm produce. He explained that those who refuse to pay are either kidnapped, killed, or have their farm produce seized by the bandits. Earlier, we spoke to Daily Trust reporter in Kaduna State, Muhammad Yaba, who has an update on the incident.
Well, actually, for the farmers, it was really a pathetic situation that is happening in most of the rural communities in Giwa and also part of the Nungwari communities, where bandits are said to be forcing the farmers or the locals within those communities to pay levies before being allowed to either access their farm and also to harvest the product and in the crops we are on those farms. And that has been a challenge for the past 2 years, but despite the efforts of security agencies to curtail the situation, but the farmers are still complaining. They felt they have been abandoned. They felt that they are kind of allowed or being left in the hand of these bandits as they decide what happens within those communities. For instance, on this issue of Kidenden, or those communities in Kidenden here in your local government area of Kaduna State, the farmers complain that the warlords that operate within those communities, that is the bandits, usually kind of attack them while working on farms, and sometimes they don't even allow them access the farms without being extorted or being paid those levies. And this levy, as you mentioned, is about 100,000 to 70,000 naira, depending on how large your farm is according to the local interview. And that sometimes those that refuse to comply to the demands by these bandits are either killed, kidnapped, or have the whole cost seized from them. And that has been a problem, and that some of them have started thinking of relocating from those communities to safer communities. According to the locals, as long as there are no enough security agents present within those communities, then the bandits will always have a ability, can attack them with impunity, and they have no choice than to comply by paying those levies to those bandits, or else they will not be allowed to access it. So it's like they are just there, not knowing where to go, because some of them claim that they have been there for decades and that they cannot just move. You know, based on the findings, most of these communities where these such incidents are happening are located in remote villages. And based on that, which means some of them are either located within forest or nearby forest where these bandits are using as trade or as camp. And that, so these people, because they cannot go anywhere, and security agencies cannot just go there and remain in those remote villages, then it means they are under, if they end up finding themselves under the territory of the bandits, because the bandits dictate what happens in those communities. Since there are no security presence, and sometimes in those villages, the local vigilantes that are securing those communities cannot withstand the power or the weapons of those bandits, and in that they decided most of them ended up kind of complying to the demand of those bandits that are operating within those territories or communities.
The Nigerian Police Taraba State Command has confirmed the arrest of suspected students involved in the murder of a teacher at Model Primary and Secondary School. The incident led to the suspension of academic activities by teachers in protest to the killing. The report.
Model Primary and Secondary School has become a big crime scene as police operatives swamped the premises following the fatal stabbing of a teacher by alleged students of the school. Habibu Umar Dodo is the principal Model Primary School and was a witness to the incident. He recounts what transpired.
So now the teacher on duty asked him to stay back so that they can clear the place before they can go inside the school to look for the guarantor. So the teacher asked him and he retrieved back. So the older friend of the older boy, he just asked him why he will just go back because of the teacher. If you say that he is the one that they asked to go back, he will not go back. So now the teacher just asked him, what did you say? He said he will not go back. Then he asked them to go. Now they go. So the students that were there, that secondary school student, when they had the argument that is ongoing between the teacher and these two chaps that came, they now came so that to assist their teacher on what is happening. They now chase the student, the fellows, they chase them out of the school. When they go out, they mobilize themselves again. They mobilized themselves. They came in numbers to stay at the road close to the school. They wait for the teacher to come out from the school during the closing hours. When we close for the day, they just wait for him. He came and entered a canapé.
The principal primary section of the school, Umar Dodo, says the school is in shock and will take necessary steps to ensure the perpetrators are brought to justice.
We're having serious problem. Always, some of the outsiders will just come in the school in numbers and they are disturbing our peace. And our students are finding it very difficult to have a conducive environment so that they can learn what they are there. So we are appealing to the government again, please let them see to our own plight and bring security into our schools.
The police public relation officer Abdullahi Usman, who confirmed the arrest of some of the suspects involved in the killing of the teacher, called on the public to exercise patience as the police conducts its investigations.
From there, the command have to be on manhunt to make sure that the suspects are arrested so that they can feel wrath of the law. Presently, the suspect has been arrested, investigation ongoing on the matter.
Although normalcy has been restored to the area, the incident has negatively affected the academic community in Taraba State.
Now, Zamfara State is one of the states in the northwest that is presently afflicted by crippling security challenges, which include banditry, cattle rustling, and kidnapping, despite efforts to curtail the menace. Now, since it started in 2009, things seem to be getting worse on a daily basis. This is why stakeholders are asking for full takeover of the state by the military until things get normal. Zainab Kare reports.
Armed banditry and human displacement is slowly becoming a pandemic in Nigeria. The consequences of the security meltdown in Zamfara is assuming international dimensions.
The state of security in Zamfara State presently, as you can see, some of the spokespersons, they cannot be able to go back to their state. Why? Because the governor is after them all over, simply because they are telling the entire world what exactly is happening.
Despite efforts by government, security agencies, committed groups or individuals, the deteriorating situation over the years demonstrates only synergy between different stakeholders can produce peace and accelerated development in the state.
A lot of properties were destroyed every day. We have to come and do something. We have to, all hands should be on deck and stop that catastrophe. Because the current governor, if we fall hands and allow him, he can't do it because he doesn't even stay in the state.
It means no critical stakeholder should be left out.
We are just like in Gaza. Zamfara State is like Gaza. So we want to call on the president. The same people that voted him in are in trouble now. The same people that gave him highest votes during his during election are in trouble now. They have been killing every day. We want him to enforce a state of emergency.
Stakeholders want federal and state governments to continue to give much needed support to the security agencies in the state to halt insecurity in Zamfara State. For peace to fully return to the state, this is the way to go, even if it means declaring a state of emergency in the state. Zainab Garay, Trust TV News, Abuja.
As Kogi prepares for Saturday's governorship election, the executive chairman of Lokoja Council, Muhammad Dang Asabe Muhammad, has reportedly slumped and died. The 33-year-old council chairman was confirmed dead on Friday at a hospital in Lokoja, where he was rushed to after the incident. He was said to have been active, attending series of political meetings all day in preparation for Saturday's governorship election in the state. A family source said that he was rushed to Shifa Hospital, Lokoja, shortly after he collapsed in the house in the late hours of Thursday. The Lokoja LGA Public Relations Officer of All Progressives Congress, Talaba Lakwaja, confirmed the incident in a statement. Meanwhile, the massive security deployment in Kogi, one of the 3 states taking part in the off-circle elections on Saturday, is boosting public confidence despite heightened political tension in the state. Political attacks have dominated the campaigns ahead of what will be a keen contest for the gubernatorial seat. Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman reports from the state capital, Lokoja, saying that the atmosphere remains upbeat due to security protocols and deployment.
Kogi State currently looks like a militarized zone ahead of the election on Saturday. Tensions remain high as police personnel are being deployed across the state to help maintain law and order. At the INEC State headquarters in Lokoja, all hands are on deck to guarantee the safety of the facility and members of staff in preparation for the Saturday's exercise.
We have men deployed to take charge of this environment to ensure that this headquarters of INEC is secured, devoid of any threat or any public disturbance.
The presence of armed personnel across Lokoja demonstrates the commitment of security operatives to ensuring total compliance with security protocols put in place to facilitate a hitch-free electoral process.
I will thank Mr. President Asewaju Ahmed Bola Tinubu, Jegaba of Nigeria, for the security that he provided in Kogi State, and the atmosphere is conducive for each and everyone to come out and cast their vote peacefully and went back home. I have my PVC with me, inshallah, and it's intact. By tomorrow morning, I will go there, do my accreditation, and I'll cast my vote for the candidate of my choice.
The nature of security coming into Lokoja, I think there's going to be enough maximum security, and with the look of things happening presently now, I think there's going to be a record of free and fair election.
The election management body, INEC, on its part, has restated its readiness to conduct a credible exercise in Kogi.
Kogi has already made all the enabling arrangements to conduct successful election. Everything is well prepared for. We are just waiting for tomorrow. And all the RECs have been deployed to their respective local governments.
The political atmosphere in Kogi State remains charged as voters head to the polls on Saturday to elect the next governor of the state. Despite the high temperature, residents expressed optimism to cast their votes on Saturday while calling for a free, fair and credible conduct of the exercise. From Lokoja, the Kogi State capital, Shafiu Suleiman, Trust TV News.
In the meantime, the Deputy Inspector General of Police in charge of election in Imo State, DIG Frank Mba, says the force will go tougher on anyone found committing electoral offences in the governorship election on Saturday, the 11th of November. Mba stated this at the Imo Police Command while briefing journalists, affirming the arrival of all deployment vehicles and personnel for the security of the exercise. The DIG also said that over 25,000 policemen have been deployed to the state for the election, noting that the police will guarantee a safe environment for the election.
We are determined to silence all criminal-minded goals. We will silence all criminal-minded goals. We'll keep our eyes on the big ball and we will not be distracted. The big ball is to make sure this election, the gubernatorial election in Imo State, is conducted in an atmosphere devoid of violence, devoid of intimidation, devoid of wanton destruction, devoid of arson, devoid of unnecessary assault, snatching of ballot boxes.
Still on the off-cycle elections, election observers have highlighted critical issues that may threaten the smooth conduct of the electoral process. From security to electoral integrity, the stakeholders called for significant improvement to attain free, fair and credible elections in the country. Noel Sampson has more.
With the off-cycle elections just around the corner, election observers are drawing attention to critical issues that remain a challenge for Nigeria's democratic growth and development. Issues like low voter turnout, despite a considerable high number of voter cards collected, means the elections will be decided by a small percentage of the electorate. The speakers also highlighted political violence and other issues as prevailing challenges that may hinder the success of the elections.
The challenge of violence, especially in Imo, and how power of incumbency is being used to stifle opposition through the booking of hotels, using the signage, the state signage company to make sure that placing a fine of over 54 million for pasting of signage, and that is indeed removing level playing field for those who are contesting these elections. So those are some of the challenges. But more importantly is that we've pointed out that the security agencies and everyone who is involved, the voters and the government, has a responsibility to create a peaceful environment for the Saturday polls in those three states.
Looking back at the pitfalls experienced during the conduct of the 2023 general elections, the stakeholders called for the utilization of individuals with proven integrity to oversee the processes.
INEC should ensure proper and timely communication with stakeholders on election day process, including highlighting their challenges experienced and immediate plans to address those challenges to inspire citizens' confidence in the process. Yaga Africa calls on the Interagency Consultative Committee on Election Security, ICES, to ensure that security personnel deployed for the elections comply with the Code of Conduct on Election Security.
When INEC conducted the mock accreditation in Imo, Bayelsa and Kogi State last month, and it tested the IREB, and the pictures were very clear. So I think what we should be looking at now is that since INEC has said that the IREB, the results are the polling units, which is the most important point of election, the polling units are going to be uploaded. I think what we should be looking at now is to ensure that they are actually as clear as when INEC did its mock accreditation.
With preparations almost concluded, all eyes will be on Kogi, Imo and Bayelsa states for the November 11 elections that will produce governors for the state. Noel Sampson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
The Court of Appeal Abuja Division on Friday reserved judgment in an appeal filed by the embattled governorship candidate of the Social Democratic Party, Dr. Umar Ardo. The court, after hearing an appeal by Dr. Umar Ardo, his deputy Amos Yusuf, and SDP, reserved judgment in the appeal. Dr. Umar Ardo is challenging the judgment of the Governorship Election Petition Tribunal, which dismissed his petition instituted against INEC, Governor Fintiri, and 16 others. While delivering judgment, the chairman of the tribunal, T.O. Uloho, dismissed the petition, saying that the petition was incompetent, defective, incongruous, and not properly instituted, and that the petitioners were not certain with what they want. She declared that the petitioners had lumped the ground of corrupt practices and non-compliance with the Electoral Act, as well as failed to file written statement of names of witnesses they intended to call. You're watching the news update on Trust TV. Coming up shortly. Nigerians decry service industry inflation. Details and more after the break.
Hello.
Welcome back. You're watching the news update on Trust TV. Here's a look at the top stories again. Farmers face extortion from bandits before harvesting crops in Kaduna. Plus, police arrest students over Taraba teachers' killing. In other news, almost a year after it was commissioned, business activities at Nguru Modern Market are picking up as traders troop in from across the country. Trust TV's Idris Jibrin reports that traders remain hopeful despite expressing concerns over the current economic climate affecting patronage and other business activities. His report.
Sequel to the successful implementation of the previous National Statistical Master Plan, experts from the 19 northern states and the Federal Capital Territory are here to once again produce a comprehensive framework to provide systematic and coordinated development of statistical activities in Nigeria.
For statistical harmony, the NBS is trying to champion a new system, particularly as we are moving into a knowledge economy. Now we are in the knowledge economy. Driving Nigeria's knowledge economy can never happen unless the statistical system is properly situated.
According to the National Bureau of Statistics, the strategy is expected to enhance the quality, relevance, and accessibility of statistical data, which is crucial for evidence-based decision-making, policy formulation, and national development planning.
We recognize that statistics are more than just numbers. It's not just about producing numbers. They are the voice that narrate our nation's story, inform our decisions, and pave the way for a brighter future for us. Therefore, it is vital that we have a robust strategy to guide the growth and development of the system that produces the statistics that we all rely on in our respective work.
The implementation of the new strategy will span from 2024 to 2028 and result in transforming the national statistical system for enhanced global competitiveness across 3 tiers of government.
The issue of addressing data advocacy, statistical literacy in the country is coming to the fore. It's coming to the limelight. The issue of capacity building, statistical capacity building within the Nigerian data ecosystem is coming to the limelight. As we all know, in the present day data ecosystem, the role of innovation, technology innovation, is very, very vital and crucial. And this new strategy is going to address that.
At the end of this exercise, these critical stakeholders will come up with a comprehensive document for the national development of statistics that will last for a period of 4 years. Idris Jibrin, Trust TV News, Kano.
The current cost of living crisis has impacted every aspect of life for Nigerians as inflation continues to bite hard. Subscription services have now become latest addition to the list of unaffordable items under the current economic climate in Nigeria. Fatima Musa has more.
Satellite TV subscription services have become part of most Nigerians' households over the years, catering to the infotainment needs of millions of subscribers. The current tide of economic instability, however, means that households have to reconsider their priority list. The sudden hike in price of satellite TV subscriptions like DSTV and GoTV has not gone down well with Nigerians.
Myself, I've been using DSTV from day one, and I'm still subscribing to, even though it's not as easy to subscribe to the ISL package, but I still have to find a common ground in which that I can actually accommodate.
For most Nigerians affected by the price hike, there is no justification for the price surge.
Well, to me, I would say that maybe DSTV have not been fair in terms of their services to Nigerians. Why or what will be the reason behind the skyrocketing of their prices?
Just like the fact that the increase of DSTV, the subscription, this one is not come to me by surprise. When you look at the nature of the country, everything is going up.
The cost of living crisis in Nigeria means most households can no longer afford the subscription to watch their favorite TV shows, news services, and sports entertainment. Dissatisfied customers are now calling for government regulations that will checkmate the incessant price hikes in the sector.
Based on the current economy of the country, I think there is no justification for that at the moment. I think the lawmakers should come into this and make sure that something is being done.
We have already packed DSTV out since, because number one thing is that they started by promising you that when you recharge this, they will upgrade you to this. So when I did it, they didn't upgrade me, and I tried finding out there is nothing.
With the growth of streaming services, some experts say MultiChoice may be struggling to stay afloat due to a decline in its customers' base, which can be connected to a new tariff for the service.
For instance, we don't have a solid competition in this area. If you look at DSTV, they have DSTV, they also have GoTV. So they are the sole determinant of the market. Majority of Nigerians, which are poor, according to the statistics, there are 133 million Nigerians are multi-dimensional. So people that are multi-dimensional poor is not expected to subscribe to such. They rather look for food, shelter, and clothing. That is much more important.
TV services usually gives Nigerians a platform to enjoy a variety of content. Under the current circumstances, it is a luxury many cannot afford. Fatima Musa, Trust TV News, Abuja.
On the foreign scene, the Hamas government in Gaza Strip say an Israeli strike on the territory's largest hospital killed 13 people, 13 martyrs and dozens wounded in an Israeli strike on Al-Shifa compound today in central Gaza City, a government statement said. Al-Shifa Hospital Director Muhammad Abu Salmiya said that Israeli tanks fired on Al-Shifa Hospital, while the Israeli military did not offer an immediate comment. And that's a wrap on the news update. You can watch more via all our social media platforms and also on our YouTube live stream. I am Ayuba Ila. Thanks for watching.